In the year 2024, my company and I did 84 deals wholesaling and flipping houses. In this game, it's all about getting the highest quality amount of motivated sellers for the cheapest, and I want to show you exactly step by step how we did it. Even if you know nothing about getting motivated sellers or an experienced investor, you will get something out of this video. If I can do it at 21 years old, I'm pretty sure you can do the same, so let's dive in the video. In this video, you're going to learn my favorite way to get motivated sellers and choosing the correct strategy based on where your business is at today. And also choosing the correct audience based on whatever strategy you pick, while also keeping the consistency without you always having to be involved. If you enjoy any part of this video, please subscribe, like, or comment. That would help me out a lot, so let's get on to the video. So I'm going to go over arguably the most important thing about getting motivated sellers, and it's choosing the correct strategy based on where your business is at today. See, the deal is every real estate investor or wholesaler or flipper wants motivated sellers, but they're not all created equal. The game of real estate investing is getting the highest quality amount of motivated sellers for the cheapest. And there are hundreds, even thousands of ways to get motivated sellers, but not every single marketing method is correct for everyone. And this is why it's so important that you choose correctly, otherwise it can make or break your business. So now how do you choose the right strategy? And this is where I go off of time versus money theory. Now what this theory really stands for is it basically asks yourself, do you have more time than money or more money than time? And it is very important that you understand this tactic because you're going to waste a lot of money or time on stuff that you shouldn't actually be doing. And if you choose the wrong method or choose the wrong road, you're going to go down the wrong path and you're not going to last in this business very long. And everyone I see who fails in this business fails to get this ideology right. They usually have more time than money, but they're spending their money on stuff that really doesn't matter or is way more expensive than they can afford at the moment. Or vice versa. If they have a lot of money and they need to be spending their time on doing stuff that's actually making them money, they're spending time on doing stuff that doesn't matter to them. Essentially, wasting their time because they're not using their money properly to work for them while they're actually spending their time doing the important things. This is the first question you need to ask yourself, and you need to answer it honestly because this is going to make or break your business at the end of the day. Now, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go over some tactics if you have more time than money right now, and this is my favorite way to get motivated sellers that doesn't cost a lot, but just takes a little bit of effort. Now, you may be expecting a very long list of a lot of good things to do when you have a lot more time than money, but unfortunately, I have one thing to show you. And this is by far the most efficient and best marketing method to get motivated sellers, and that would be the glorious art of cold calling. And there's a lot of different definitions of cold calling, but what I mean is literally calling a homeowner and asking them if they want to sell their house or if they want an offer on their house. And this is a very broad topic. What do I say? Who do I call? How many calls do I make? There's a lot of questions to ask here. Perfect, so I'll cold call 5 people a day. One person's gonna wanna sell and I'll do 5 deals a week and bam, I'm rich. Unfortunately, at the end of the day, I wish it was this easy, but 99% of people aren't gonna wanna sell their house if you call them. But why cold calling still works is because people who are actually motivated to sell their house are going to answer the phone and they're gonna have a conversation with you and listen. So why choose cold calling if 99% of people don't wanna sell their house when you call them? The first reason is because the big dog competition of whatever city you do deals in aren't able to always do this as efficiently as you would. Now, the first reason I recommend cold calling is because it's what your competition won't do. Now, yes, I understand the big dog competition in whatever city you end up doing deals in are probably doing some form of cold calling. But what I really mean is your competition is probably using some form of a VA or some other person to cold call for them who really doesn't understand the business as good as they do. Now, luckily, you fully know the business, so when you make a cold call, it's going to be a lot higher quality of cold calls, and you're going to get a lot of conversions because people are going to be able to understand you, and usually when you're from the area, it's going to help a lot more. And this is what your competition won't do, because I can even say myself, I don't make cold calls every day because if I did, I would get a lot more deals, but that's not where my time is used valuably. Now, the second reason I would recommend cold calling and cold calling only is because your competition is always going to outspend you. Now, how does that have anything to do with cold calling? Well, when you're first starting out and you're cold calling, it doesn't cost a lot of money to actually cold call every single day. But when you're starting out and you have limited funds to go around to find motivated sellers, your top dog competition is always going to be able to outspend you in whatever marketing method you're trying to throw money at. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but there are competitors in your market probably spending $30,000 to $50,000 a month just on marketing. Now, the third reason I would recommend cold calling because it's all about timing. And what's so cool about cold calling is no matter how big or small your company is, you can get a great deal without having any competition knowing about it. And that's because you caught somebody at the absolute perfect time or the right time to sell their house fast for whatever reason. And sure, maybe they've gotten cold calls in the past, they've gotten letters in the mail, or they've looked up on Google and found people on Google, but at the end of the day, you called them at the perfect time, so they're going to end up choosing you as long as you go about it perfect. And that's something, no matter how big a companies are in your market city, they can't take that away from you if you have an actual good deal. And at the end of the day, that's what marketing methods, all marketing methods are trying to do anyways, is catching people at the right time, and you did exactly that. And lastly, with cold calling, you can be very, very efficient with this. And what I mean is there's a lot of different people you can call, or a lot of different ways you can call, so that you're actually targeting people who are more likely to sell, or you can target people where there's more calls per day. That way you can have more conversations. Instead of wasting your time trying to call your neighbors and call people that you know, you're not going to get deals that way. You have to be very niche with this. So there's a couple different ways to cold call very efficiently, and I'm going to show you a couple different ways right now. Now, the first way you can cold call is by hand dialing. And what I mean by hand dialing is literally picking up your cell phone, typing in the phone number, letting it ring, and seeing if they answer. But the second way, and my favorite way, is by using an automatic dialer. And what an automatic dialer does is it takes a very massive list of multiple phone numbers, multiple addresses, and multiple names, and can call them at multiple lines at a time. That way it's more efficient and you don't have to actually wait for a ring. You're going to only talk to the people who actually end up picking up the phone. And although an automatic dialer may sound like a no-brainer, hand dialing actually comes in very efficiently at certain points, but it just depends on whatever situation you're in on which one you choose. Now, when it comes to hand dialing, I'm mostly using hand dialing when it comes to very extreme niche lists. Now, some examples of niche lists that you would cold call by hand dialing is pre-foreclosures, probates, tax liens, code violations, and driving for dollars lists. The reason I say hand dialing is more effective with this is because usually when you get in touch with these people, it's going to be a 10 to 30 minute conversation. And so if you were using an automatic dialer, you wouldn't be very selective or really know much about what's going on with their situation. Now, for example, if you were to call Sally at 123 Main Street, who is 3 months behind on their payments and in pre-foreclosure, it'd be very nice to know a lot about her. That way you can call her and understand actually what her needs are, and she's going to like you a lot more knowing that you're not just some automatic dialer telemarketer. Plus, you're going to want to spend more time and have a higher quality phone call with these people because they have a lot higher of a motivation, and they're going to be able a lot easier to convert because they actually have physically something going on in their lives. There's a lot of different situations with these cold calls, but you need to be very selective and know exactly who you're calling and why you're calling them. That way, when they answer, they can actually know what you're talking about. And these are what I would call warmer cold calls because these are people who have selectively have problems with their property. Now, where an automatic dialer absolutely excels is when you pull a bulk list of thousands and thousands of addresses and phone numbers from whatever software you choose, like PropStream or Batch Leads. And some example of these lists is if you pull a massive list in whatever city you're living in, can be like absentee owners, vacant lists, certain property characteristics like a 3-bed, 2-bath in your local area, or most lists like that where there's a lot of properties in your area that have the same exact thing. Now, when you pull this list and you call them, you're going to notice that this is a very cold call. Obviously, they may or may not have anything going on with their property at all. They may hang up on you. They may tell you to screw off. But at the right timing and chance, there's going to be somebody who has a problem in the right timing and is going to want to sell. And that's why this is so powerful, because timing is the essence. And this is where you can get very, very good deals without your competition knowing about it at all. Because you're calling a massive list of people, and there is an amount of luck to this. But this is where you can pull massive wholesale fees because you're going to catch people at the right time without anybody else knowing about it. But what is super important is having the right data by doing this. And what I mean by having the right data is if you go on Batch Leads or PropStream, they're going to give you very basic information that many of your competitors of lists have already pulled. And I guarantee you the people that you pull have already been called 5 times that day. And at the end of the day, when you get 5 phone numbers per record, sometimes those records don't even work and you can end up actually getting a hold of the person. And the unfortunate part is sometimes Batch Leads or PropStream only gives you 5 phone numbers. But what makes it worse is sometimes these 5 phone numbers might not actually lead you to the property owner at all. But what's helped me a ton in my virtual assistants is I have a skip tracing that uses 5 phone numbers per family member. But what's made me and my VAs excel on the automatic dialer by calling these bulk lists is by having a massively good skip tracing service. So the skip tracing service that I use gives me 25 phone numbers at 10 cents a record. Now, where those 25 phone numbers come from, so different from PropStream and Batch Leads, is 5 phone numbers come from the actual owner and the rest of them come from family members of the owner. That way, if you can't get a hold of them in those first 5 phone numbers, somebody will know what you're talking about and somebody can lead you in the right direction. And this is what's absolutely killing our competition, because at the end of the day, our competition isn't calling 25 numbers, they're calling the 5 numbers that the average software gives them. Now, this skip tracing service is an absolute cheat code and absolutely kills our competition because no one else is doing this. Not to mention, it's a 1/5 of the price and has 5 times the quality. If you want to get a hold of the skip tracing service, click the link below in the description and put in your email and I will send this to you for free. Now I'm going to go over some strategies on getting motivated sellers if you have more money than time right now. Now, the beautiful thing about having a lot of money getting into this business is you have plenty of options to choose from. And what's even better is this money can cause you to get motivated sellers on autopilot without you having to do a single thing. But that's the goal, is with the money is you want to use it to work for you. That way you do get leads on autopilot. And you can spend your time actually talking to warm leads or people who actually want to sell their property instead of using all your time cold calling. Now, doing 84 deals last year, obviously we have tons of inbound marketing that we do. But I will say is not all of them are created equal, because a lot of them suck, but a lot of them are good. Now I'm going to show you my top 3 highest returning things that I've ever put my money into to get the most amount of money back from motivated sellers. Now, my number 1 highest returning tactic to get motivated sellers was using organic website SEO. Basically, what organic website SEO is when somebody wants to sell their house fast and they look up on Google, they can find your website or your Google business profile and they fill out the form on your website, or they call you saying they want to sell their house. My second highest returning tactic to get motivated sellers on autopilot is by using virtual assistants to cold call for me. And these VAs will be using an automatic dialer that will be running on autopilot and only talking to people who actually answer the phone. And these virtual assistants will be asking the property owners if they want to sell their property or if they want to get an offer on the property. And the number 3 highest returning tactic to get motivated sellers, believe it or not, is bandit signs. Basically, what we use for bandit sign is a bright yellow sign that says I buy houses, and we put our phone number in it and we stick it in the front yard of all the flips and the wholesales that we do. Now let me go in depth about all 3 of these marketing channels. With organic SEO, and why it works so well is because motivated sellers are actively searching on Google to find people to buy their house, and they are actually trying to find you. The nice thing about it is not somebody seeing an ad on Facebook or YouTube, clicking it, filling out a form just because they're curious. It is people who are actually physically looking up on Google to sell their house fast and find some near cash home buyer near them so they can get an offer for their property. Another great thing is if somebody clicks on your website or fills out your form, you don't have to pay extra for that at all. It's completely free. Now, for the people who don't have a website that's ranking at the top of their local market when people are looking up to sell their house fast to them, this is a problem, because there are motivated sellers every single day looking to sell their house fast in whatever market city you're doing it in. It's like having a shop on the side of the road that has an open sign that's turned on but the door's locked, because people are actively trying to go in your door and you're not letting them. Or even worse, you're not even there. And organic SEO is so awesome because it's super cheap to set up if you do it yourself, and we get organic deals completely for free every single month. It's an absolute no-brainer. Why would you not have your door unlocked for motivated sellers who are trying to find cash home buyers in your area to sell their house fast to? Now, I'm a nerd about SEO because it works so well, and I made a 1-hour long video unedited of me making my website start to finish. So if you want that, go to the link in the description and you can put your email in there and I will send it to you for free. Now, the second thing I'm going to run over is using virtual assistants on an automatic dialer to cold call for you. Now, what's awesome, like I mentioned before, about using an automatic dialer is you're only talking to people that are actually picking up the phone, because the automatic dialer is dialing multiple lines at a time of whatever bulk list you're having your virtual assistants call. But for me personally, in my business, I use very quality cheap VAs that only cost me $3.50 per hour. So cold calling with virtual assistants on an automatic dialer is very, very, very affordable. And the best part is you can actually be working on whatever needs to be worked on that day that's super important, and it's completely done for you, and they get all the warm leads sent straight to you. And even better, it's catching these people at the right time that not all these inbound lead sources would other get you, right? Pay-per-lead sources, Facebook ads, YouTube ads, they're gonna catch people at the right time, but cold calling catches people at the right time in a different way. At the end of the day, we have a fishing boat with 50 different lines on it, and every single fish bites on a different hook. Some people like a cold call, some people want to look up on Google, some people are gonna call the mailer they get in their inbox. It all varies in marketing. But when you're calling on a dialer using an automatic dialer for your VAs, good data is absolutely essential and is 99% of the problem with cold calling. If you don't have quality data, and no matter how good your VAs are or how good your setup is with your automatic dialer, you're screwed. You won't get any deals and you're wasting your time and you're wasting your money. Now, lastly, I'm going to talk about bandit signs. And what's super important about bandit signs is putting them in the correct places. And what the problem with bandit signs is if you stick them out on public places like intersections, street corners, and different things like that, they're most likely going to get taken, and you could also get a fine for that. So my favorite spot is to do the front yards of flips or current wholesales that we have going on in neighborhoods. And what's so cool about it is, like going back to the fish hook theory, is some people want to see their friend down the road who sold their house. They want to go up to that cash buyer and see what they're off. And what's so cool about it is because it's a different fish hook that other people like. Some people want to see down the road somebody working on a property and they see, oh, that's a very credible local guy. So they're going to call that number on that bandit sign, whether they saw it in their neighborhood or drive by it, and they're going to know that you're more credible because they know that you're real. well. And that's what makes bandit signs so effective, is you stick them in the front yard and it shows people actually working on the property, roll-offs outside, whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, the bandit signs that I use are super basic, and they work even better the more basic they are. How you design them is super important. In my company, we use our signs bright yellow, and we have black writing that says I buy houses and a black phone number. What this does is make it very visible and also appears you as the very local guy like these people want to call. Having logos and website URLs do not work well at all, so don't waste your time trying that. Trust me, I've tried it myself and it does not work well at all. This way works 20 times, 50 times better than that way. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you got something out of this video, something new that you can take into your business and make more money. Now, my company, marketingformotivatedsellers.com, what we do is we do marketing for real estate investors all across the country who want to get leads on autopilot and get these systems plug and played in their business. What we do for other real estate investors is website SEO, Google pay-per-click, and having cold callers with virtual assistants completely done for you without you having to touch a thing. So if you're interested in these services done for you, getting leads, motivated sellers to your inbox, click the link below and apply today. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed any part of this video, please like, please subscribe, and please comment if you have any questions, and I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.